Well, hello! Today is January the 13th, 2023, and it's a Friday. So that makes it Friday the 13th, right? Yeah, that's right. Now, an interesting thing is, you may or may not know this, our calendar repeats itself every 28 years. So every 28 years, the year is identical. January 1st falls on the same day. January 13th falls on the same day. So let's take a look at Friday, January the 13th in history. So, 28 years ago from today was January 13th, a Friday, in 1995. The Prime Minister of Australia was Paul Keating. The President of the United States, Bill Clinton. Canada's Prime Minister was Jean Chrétien. The United Kingdom's Prime Minister was John Major. The leader of Russia, the President, was Boris Yeltsin. And the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church was John Paul II. The top hits. Well, in North America, the number one hit on January 13th, 1995 was On Bended Knee by Boyz II Men. In the United Kingdom, it was Cotton Eye Joe by Rednecks. And in Australia, Love Is All Around by Wet Wet Wet. The number one movie on January 13th was Murder in the First Degree. The best-selling book, as of that date, Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man by Tim Allen. And in the news, what was happening January 13th? 1995, well, the NHL, the National Hockey League, ended a strike with a ratification of an agreement. And the first all-female crew won the America's Cup sailing race. Now let's go back another 28 years, and that would take us to January 13th, a Friday in 1967. Australia's Prime Minister was Harold Holt. The United States President was Lyndon B. Johnson. The Prime Minister of Canada, Lester B. Pearson. The Prime Minister in the United Kingdom, Harold Wilson. The leader of Russia, at that time it would have been the USSR, was Leonid Brezhnev. And the Pope was Paul VI. The top hits in North America, I'm a Believer by the Monkees. In the United Kingdom, Green Green Grass of Home by Tom Jones. And in Australia, Ooh La La by Normie Rowe. The top movie on January 13th was How I Spent My Summer Vacation, starring Robert Wagner. The best-selling book, The Secret of Santa Vittoria, by Robert Crichton. In the news, the McDonnell Aircraft Corporation bought out Douglas Aircraft Corporation for $68.7 million and formed the McDonnell Douglas Corporation. The New York City Police Department saved the lives of 300 people in the Jamaica area of the borough of Queens by running door to door to evacuate them 20 minutes before a natural gas explosion happened. That explosion leveled homes and started a fire that destroyed 22 buildings. And if we go 28 years back from 1967, it takes us to 1939. So what was happening on Friday, January 13th in 1939? Well, the Australian Prime Minister was Joseph Lyons. The United States President, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Canada's Prime Minister was William Lyon Mackenzie King. The Prime Minister in the United Kingdom was Neville Chamberlain. The leader of the USSR was Joseph Stalin, and the Pope was Pius XI. The top hits? Well, in North America, it was Deep Purple by Larry Crichton and his orchestra. I love that song. When the deep purple crawls over sleepy garden walls. That's a nice song. In the United Kingdom, it was We'll Meet Again. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. And that was sung by Charlie Ross Barker. In Australia, well, I looked, but I couldn't find what the number one hit was on that day in Australia. The number one movie of January 39 was Son of Frankenstein, starring Basil Rathbone. The best-selling book on January 13th, 1939, Rebecca, by Daphne du Maurier. And in the news, well, you'd think it would be what was going on in Europe with the Nazis and World War II, but no. The number one item in the news worldwide on that January 13th in Australia. The Black Friday bushfire burned 20,000 square kilometers of land in the Victoria region, or state of Australia, and it killed 71 people. And that may account why I couldn't find what the number one hit was on that day. All right, if we go back another 28 years from 1939, that takes us to 1911. What was happening on Friday, January the 13th? 1911? Well, the Australian Prime Minister was Andrew Fisher. The United States President, William Howard Taft. The Canadian Prime Minister was Wilfrid Laurier. The United Kingdom's Prime Minister was H.H. Asquith. The leader of Russia, Tsar Nicholas II. And the Pope was Pius X. Couldn't find the top hits for that year. I guess it was before they had a top 100 or top 40s hit list. So songs that come to mind from that era, to me, probably really aren't of that era, but I think of Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due. I'm half crazy over the love of you. It won't be a fancy marriage. I can't afford a carriage, but you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. The number one movie. Now, I bet you're thinking, oh, there were movies in 1911? There were, but they were silent. And the number one movie on January 13th, 1911, was Oedipus Rex, starring Suzanne de Barry. The number one book, The Broad Highway by Geoffrey Farnall, who was a British author. And in the news, the headline of that day was Roald Amundsens, who was a Norwegian explorer of the Arctic regions, anchored in Walvis Bay, Namibia, on his way to explore Antarctica. He arrived in Antarctica later in January. So there you have it, a look back at the Friday, January the 13th over the last century. You can go back further than that if you want, but it gets harder to find information the further back you go. And probably finding a number one hit might be really difficult if you go back 28 years from 1911, which would take you into the 1880s. But anyway, I hope you found this interesting. Now, I have an announcement. I've been just over 1,300 subscribers now for a while, but I wanted to wait till after all the Christmas hoopla and the New Year's hoopla before I held a 1,300 subscriber giveaway. And what's going to be in that giveaway package? Well, several things. An Ian Wygath t-shirt. Well, it's in this box. It's a coffee mug for Tuesdays with the Pilgrim. Your own copy of In His Steps by Charles M. Sheldon. And a bracelet. That will be the number one package. There'll be a number two and a number three as well. I'm not going to tell you what's in those, but anyway, I hope you'll enter To enter, you will have to be a subscriber, a regular subscriber, a commenter, and I will have a special video when I'm ready to announce that giveaway. It'll be soon. So be watching for that, and it'll be a case of we're gonna make a comment and let me know you want in. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please be on the lookout for that giveaway video. Will be coming up soon, and probably with a recipe. I haven't been in the kitchen for a while, so it's time we get back there. But until then, and until next Tuesday when we have I believe it's chapter 19 or chapter 20, I can't remember, of In His Steps. Take care, stay safe, and God bless.